limited role of the judiciary. So in here we are going to discuss about up to what extent the judiciary body can interfere with regard to the tax law. First of all, we have to understand that the power of taxation is fundamentally a legislative function. So the judiciary is strictly limited to prevent unwarranted intrusion into policy making. So while the enactment is in the process made by the lawmaking body, the judiciary has no any chance of interfering. So that is the boundary between the two branches, the legislative and the judiciary. To emphasize, this is what the court cannot count. So it says that cannot question, as long as the tax law does not violate any constitutional limitations or restrictions, the courts are expressly prevented from inquiring into the following matters. Number one, kasi ito ay kinoconsider as political questions falling within the sole discretion of the legislature. Again, sole discretion of the legislature. So number one is the wisdom. The court cannot question about the soundness and necessity of the tax measure. It is the wisdom of the lawmaking body. Again, the court cannot question the wisdom of the legislative body. They have the sole power to determine who to tax, who to be taxed, the objects to be taxed, the tax rates, purpose, the type of the tax, those elements that we have discussed earlier in our previous video in here. These are the sole discretion of the legislatures. The motives they have, what's the motive of that? It's a political in nature. That is on the legislature alone, the amount, the tax objects. So the limitation of the judicial power are defined into two. First is the application of the law, how it is applied. When there are ambiguity as to the application, then the judicial power or the judiciary body can intervene. And also when there are some interpretations vague as to, then it is the judiciary body to construe if there is a need for the interpretation. Okay. With regard to the application, what I'm talking about, if that is in compliance with the Constitution. So example, the observance of the due process of law. That's one of that. It is like for the freedom of the religion, etc., and other constitutional limitations. And also with those inherent powers and the canon sound tax system, like the theoretical justice. So to summarize, the court acts as the constitutional and legal check. So that's how it is, to ensure that the laws adhere with the fundamental law of the land, which is the Constitution. But it never acts as a co-legislature. Again, it never acts as a co-legislator. It is only a judiciary. It cannot intervene the process. Again, the determination. Again, it can only intervene in two limited ways: the application of the law, which had to with reference to the Constitution and to the other principles from the previous jurisprudence, something like that, and again never act as a co-legislator. Thank you for listening.